Jennifer here. I have a sweet little project that I created. This is an altered muffin tin. I created this for a swap over in OohLaLa Vintage Treasures, and my partner was Doreen Rook, the owner of OohLaLa Vintage Treasures, so that was really cool and also very high pressure to do well. So anyway, I created this muffin tin and I want to share it with you. So I'm going to kind of go backwards and show you all the elements inside the tray, and then I'll show you what I did to alter the tray. Okay, how's that sound? So first thing I did was I created this little pin cushion. I created 5 stick pins in here. I used a tart tin and I painted it, and I did a crackle texture the same as I did on the muffin tin. And I had this material, this kind of pink, and I was trying to kind of do I think the theme was Vintage Valentine. So I was going with more of the vintage side with a little bit of pink accent. And so you can see in here, there's a little bit of pink accent and this really pretty doily that I used to create the muffin tin here. I'm sorry, the pin cushion. And these are the stick pins that I created. Created that one and this one. And then this one. I think they turned out really pretty. And then this one I added like some little bits from doilies and this little piece from OohLaLa. I did use a lot of the OohLaLa bits and pieces that I had in my drawer of goodies. So that is that. So next I created a few paper clips. This one I made a bow with some sari silk, and then I added some flowers, and I have some sprays right here, a heart charm, and a little piece of material underneath there. And I used the Sweet Christmas from Stamperia on both sides there. And then this is the other paper clip, and I added a piece of little appliques here. And then this is like a wedding dress applique, a flocked piece of ribbon, and this had a little pearl on that piece of lace at the top. And then I used Craft and You a wood piece of paper, like it looks like wood. And then in this one I created a little fence. I altered a little fence, I should say. They come in the really long pieces at Michael's, and I just cut off a little piece. And I have applique here, some millinery flowers, a little seam binding bow, little piece of doily back here, and some tatting trim right there at the top. So that's that. And then in here I have some hearts. These hearts I had altered previously, and they're just made out of chipboard and paper and some wooden elements. I have a video on this. If you're interested, I'll leave it linked below. I thought I would share these with Doreen. She really liked those. Then I have a piece of applique here that I dyed. So I thought I would share from my hoard vault. So I made this Handmade Flowers using a Sizzix rose dye, and I think they turned out really pretty. I used the Tales of You and Me paper, And I whitewashed it really good, and then I added some glitter glass to it. And I put pearls in the middle. So those are those. And then I created a couple of these. I used, let's see if I can find it. I think it's back here. So I used this die to make these flowers. I'm sure you've seen this one. So I made a couple of those. I used, this one was the Love Story paper pad, and then this one was another one of the Craft and You papers that look like wood. And I just kind of used some of my Sparkle Whip on it and some glitter glass. And then in the middle, I used some, let's see, I used some prills, and it's like silver prills mixed with like some silver glass glitter in it. I got it at the expo a couple years ago. And then this is just another little flower I made as well. I also made some little houses. She wanted these little houses from the Magnolia Doohickey Little House die. So I made her those. I made her 5 of those. And then I also made these little flowers with a little flower punch. Little flower punch I got from Michael's, and I just, you know, kind of crinkled them up. Used some of my pink Sparkle Whip on it, and some prills in there. So those are those. She wanted some handmade flowers, so I made her those. And then in this little pocket over here, I will show you up close what I have. I have this little handmade flower made from chiffon. And then I have this really pretty sparkle piece. I added a little bits here. This is a piece of tatted doily from Linda Lace Lady, and then this little sparkle piece that I had in my stash. And then I made a couple of these. She wanted some of the molds that I made with the clay. I made them look vintage. And then this little pretty applique piece here. So this is my muffin tin, and what I started off with, I meant to mention that this little piece is just kind of laid there. This is just a really pretty applique piece, and I kind of just laid it there to kind of decorate, but it's usable. Well, I actually spray painted this piece. So I spray painted it, and it was a cream color, but it wasn't vintage looking. It looked a little bit modern. So I decided I was going to paint over the spray paint after I did all that. But that's okay, because I wanted to be happy with it. Now I used this Craft Smart paint in tan. That was my first coat. And then I used this Folk Art Crackle Medium by Plaid. Okay, I let that dry for about an hour or so, and then I added this Folk Art paint in Parchment. I need to get more of it. I'm almost out because I really love this color. I use it a lot. And so that's the top layer, and then the tan is the base layer. And I love how it crackled the finish. And you can use super glue as well, but I had that crackle medium, so I just decided to use it. So that was what I did. I did that on the top, and I did it on the bottom just to finish everything off. And I kind of have this at an angle since my camera is at an angle. I used my molds, my Prima IOD molds, and I created some pieces to add some adornment and embellishment onto this muffin tin. And I used the paper clay, and then actually on the sides on these, they're a little bit trickier to use, so they wouldn't break off while, you know, because the paper clay needs to be on a solid surface because it snaps easy. So I made these out of hot glue because they are pliable. You can kind of see how they're pliable. I painted those with the same colors, and then I used, what was this? This antique gold color bloom spray by Prima to kind of get in the cracks and add a little bit of, it adds a little bit of sparkle with the mica powder in it. So that was I did these 2 pieces on the end and then 4 of these pieces. Now originally I had created these honestly to go in here, and I did like that look. I still do, but when I put this piece of applique right here, I was so excited. It just was that perfect touch. So I decided to, I had this in the hoard vault, guys, and I pulled it out and put it here in the middle, and I used some, the glue that I used was the E6000 to glue everything because I wanted it to be sturdy. I had these little tiny crystal rhinestone pieces that I added on these 4 molds. I had some AB rhinestone trim here, and then I also added the rhinestone trim right around the edge here. Okay. And then I added doily here and a doily here to match, and then I made 2 sari silk bows using my Bow It All. So I made them really tiny to fit there and layer on, and then I added this really pretty sparkle piece here on the front. Over here I added a Prima bird, like, what are those called? The Shabby Chic Treasures from Prima, and a Prima flower here, another curly flower here. This is a little crown rhinestone piece and a bow, another little bow that I made with this chiffon fabric. And then on the bottom here, I use the Kaisercraft Romantique paper, and this flower trim was, I mean, this flower piece of paper was so pretty. It matched perfectly with everything. So, you know, that's what I did, guys. I mean, it took me quite a while to make this because I just wanted it to be perfect for Doreen. You know hers is going to be amazing. She's a little bit behind on mine because she's been making kits for you guys, so I don't mind waiting. I know she started it, and what I've seen of it so far is just amazing, you guys. Her work is really impeccable. We also had to make 6 flowers for the Altered Muffin Tin swap, and let me show you these up close. So here's the first flower up close. I made this little flower with some chiffon fabric, and then this really pretty doily underneath, and then this little pretty doily here, and a piece of pearl and rhinestone sparkle. And this one I used some vintage looking fabric that I gotten at Joann's. It's a like a Paris theme type of fabric, and I used this little doily here and a piece of sparkle in the middle. And then this one is just kind of a smaller version of that, and I used this doily with this really pretty rhinestone button, I mean. And then this one, I used some pink ruffly fabric, and then this really cute doily in the middle and a sparkle piece. And this one I used like a tattered doily in the back and some muslin that I just kind of I cut them into squares and then I just folded them into petals and made a little flower from that. And then this doily, and then this really cute little applique doily here, and a sparkle piece. And then the last one I did was out of some wedding dress liner, and I melted the fabric, cut them into squares and then melted them. You know how that you can make those. And then this really pretty sparkle piece here in the middle. So those are my 6 flowers and my altered muffin tin. I really hope Doreen likes what I made for her, and I can't wait to get hers in the mail, or maybe we might meet up and not ship it to each other but give it to each other in person. So I hope that you like it, and thanks so much for watching. Bye bye for now.